we're live. Want to do kind of the live Sunday thing. Uh, Again, completely unplanned and unannounced. We're just kind of rolling hot because that's kind of how it goes. Wanted to talk a little bit about the experience of meeting the world's strongest man, Martinez Lisi's. Man, it was awesome. Um, so the whole thing kind of came together in kind of the whirlwind experience. So a little bit of a backstory is I know a guy that I served with while I was in 7th group, and then I also was with him in Korea where we were around each other. He tried out for and was accepted to the Army Warrior Fitness team. His name is Neil French, and so a few weeks ago, actually probably more like a month or so ago, he hit me up and was like, "Hey man, would you like to come out and come train with the team, or come up and just hang out and do some lifting?" So that's me traveling to Fort Knox, right? Because I'm here in Campbell, and so like that'd be cool. Go hang out with the Warrior Fitness team and do some lifting, and meet some people. Be cool. So he and I kind of shoot some messages back and forth, and eventually he ends up passing me the number for Anthony Furman. So Anthony Furman is also on the Warrior Fitness team, but it's kind of like the NCOIC, I guess. And I was like, "Here, touch base with Anthony, and we'll figure out time, place, and whatever." So when I talked with Anthony, he'd mentioned me coming up sometime in like September, a little bit later, and it had mentioned like, Martinez Lisi's is going to be down. We got some stuff going on, so it's a pretty busy time on the calendar. And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool, right?" Like it was just this like off in the distant thing, like that somebody else was doing. So then fast forward to about a week ago. The company, my company, did kind of 100% urinalysis, right? So I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Army, but a urinalysis is a very common occurrence, and basically there's just drug testing to ensure that ensure the readiness of the force, essentially, right? So they decided to do a 100% urinalysis, and so as such, I ended up having to go up to the company and hang out up there for a little while, which is an area that I don't normally hang out at on a day-to-day basis. And my first sergeant and company commander said, "Hey, Arvik, you'd be good." And I was like, "Good for what?" And they said, "Yeah, there's this thing going on, some visit, some strongman. I don't know. You lift weights. You might be good for something, to help out with that. They're supposed to do some kind of a workout. Why don't you tie into that and figure out what you're going to do?" And I said, "Well, all right, that sounds great. I don't mind helping, but like, who is it?" "No, I don't know. It's some strong man. He beat the mountain." And I was like, "Martinez Lisi's?" I'm like, "I don't know." So the details for this were like super, super scant, right? There were no details. They didn't even know the guy's name, which I thought was kind of hilarious. And then I ended up texting Anthony. I was like, "Hey man, are you guys coming down to Campbell?" Because I knew that Martinez Lisi's was going to be at Knox, but I didn't know he was going to be coming to Campbell. So you guys come to Campbell? I was like, "Yeah, man, we're coming to Campbell." I was like, "Sweet, that's pretty cool." So I got tapped to kind of coordinate the exercise portion, because the concept of the day was going to be in the morning do an obstacle course, and then go do lunch, and then after lunch we were supposed to be doing a range, and then do a fitness thing or exercise with him. So I got hit to do the planning for like the fitness piece. So that's kind of how that all was. So I knew that Martinez had gotten into a car accident not long ago. And so I actually just wrote him an email and identified myself, said, "Hey, I'm supposed to be helping you, blah, 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 right? Like kind of details. And then just said, "Hey, I know that you've been in this car accident. Is there anything that you can do or that you can't do? Or is there anything that you'd really, really like to do?" And so he wrote me back actually and gave me a couple ideas about things that he could sustain in whatever. And then let's see, pop up chat here. So he gave me a couple ideas about things that he could do or couldn't do. And so I tried to figure out something that'd be fun. And it seemed like he was okay to do deadlifting up to about 500 pounds. And so, okay, I figured like do something that we can involve soldiers and involve Martinez and like try to tie something together. So my thought process was to do a deadlift ladder. The idea of which was to start with like 60 kilograms and then have individual bars, loaded up to about 230 kilograms, which is about 507, with about 20 kilogram increments. And so it's a big ladder, but it allowed people to participate and like feel like they could kind of get up the ladder. Because if I make jumps too big, then obviously like some people may only get one or two lifts, and then they're kind of done. So I wanted to do something that would allow people to participate. So the idea was, how fast, well, to see if you can finish it for one, and then if you can finish it, how fast can you finish it? So that was kind of what I had planned. So then kind of fast forward to the day that Martine showed up. So he was here on Thursday, just this past Thursday. And he, man, I tell you what, like he was just as cool as could be. I don't know if any of you out there have ever met somebody that's, famous or semi-famous or whatever, somebody that you look up to. And sometimes you meet those folks and you're kind of disappointed by what you find, right? Like they aren't what you would hope they would be, or maybe they're, I don't know, whatever. But I got to say, like, in no way, shape, or form was I disappointed about Martins at all. Like, he was very, very generous with his time. He was very, like, very easy to talk to, like a thoughtful guy. So, like, if you speak to him, like, you could tell, like, he's there with you in the moment, right? Like, he's actively participating in the conversation, not like doing the next thing in his head or like off somewhere else, kind of ignoring. And so it was really cool to be around him because he was present. So the morning kind of went on. They showed up right around 9. I got to meet Martins. I met Anthony. I met Captain Murphy, and then I met Romark, who is Martins' like media dude. And it was really cool meeting Romark. I was actually just as excited to meet Romark as I was to meet Martins, because I really like a lot of the stuff that Romark does for the channel and how he does things, like looking at his videography, like how he does things. It's pretty cool. Jitzer, evening Brad, enjoy your channel. Subscribed when you had around 1,400 subscribers. Cool, man. It's Jeff in Indian Trail, North Carolina. Cool. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you, man. It's good to have you around. And thanks for jumping in early on the channel and sticking around for so long. I appreciate you. So meeting those guys was really, really cool. And then so we rolled out to the obstacle course. I've already released a video for that kind of part of the day when we did the obstacle course. And I was really impressed with Martins and how well he did, right? Like there were only a few obstacles that he opted not to try. And for that, I don't blame him, because it's stuff that involved like some measure of risk. And in that case, like the juice just isn't worth the squeeze, right? It's about having fun, not getting hurt. So he opted not to do maybe like 2 or 3 of the obstacles, but literally every other obstacle that he tried, he did, and like did well. It was really impressive to see, how well he could move. And I knew that he would perform very, very well. But it was funny to see other people who weren't as familiar with him being very surprised at his size and how well he did. Because a lot of people tend to think that if you're big, like you can't move, which I think generally is pretty common, but he moves pretty well. So we did that and obstacle course and he did a really great job. And then we moved over to the DFAC, which is the dining facility for 5th group, and had some lunch. And it was really funny because we went in there and like nobody was really expecting, nobody knew that he was there. Like, I don't know how many people even really recognized him, honestly. And so, we all get our trays and we're doing the whole go through the assembly line thing. And, you got to go get your food. And the DFAC that day was doing ribs. So they had 2 different kinds of ribs. They had a dry rub, and then they had like barbecue ribs. So it was like, you take a pick. Well, military DFACs are very notorious for not getting out big portions. So Martins, he goes through to get, his lunch, and he says, yeah, I'll take the ribs. And it was like some specialist behind the counter gives him like literally like 3 ribs. 3 ribs. And, this is a man who's like, 240 pounds, world's strongest man, like not somebody you should give 3 ribs to. And he just kind of looked at it. He's like, "Can I have more?" And that poor kid, he didn't know what to do, right? Like, so he's like looking nervously around to see if his his NCO was going to come down on him like thunder. And he he didn't know what to do. So I think nervously the kid gives him like two more ribs. So Martins is getting his lunch. He's got 5 ribs, and then he like loaded up on some mac and some potatoes and some other stuff, and to create a semi decently full plate. But it was epically hilarious that he's rolling through visiting to come hang out, and like nobody knows who he is, and so like the standard, like he's getting the same serving as everyone else. It was pretty funny. Let's see, what's we got? We got Shamar. Man, that would have been a crazy surprise if I was sitting in the DFAC. Yeah, it was weird. Like nobody really reacted, so I don't know if everyone knew who he was and just chose not to like whatever. But then when we sat, they had us sitting in one of the side rooms. That's like the VIP room where they usually do briefings and stuff. So he was sitting away from kind of everyone else. But going through the line and walking around, like nobody really reacted and came up. So I don't know if anyone recognized him or not. And XW says Martins might be the best strongman to do that type of stuff. He's one of the most athletic. It's great catching one of these live. Oh, thanks for being here, XW. Appreciate it, man. And JFX says, I think Martins is over 300 pounds. Yeah, he is. He's like 340 or 350, I think, right now. But anyway, so like, we eat and we go and we were in the side room, and it was, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us that were in the room kind of hanging out, just talking, and nobody else had cameras up. So if you've seen my video kind of covering that portion of the day, I didn't cover any of the DFAC stuff because really nobody was recording. And it seemed kind of inappropriate to me to be like jamming a camera in his face. Like that's not what I wanted to do my first time meeting him, right? Like if I had a kind of a good relationship with him and we knew each other and like that was kind of what the thing was, then I wouldn't have any problem doing a little bit more recording or whatever else. But I didn't want to sacrifice the opportunity to kind of meet him and get to know him a little bit for the sake of just one video, right? Like that didn't seem like a good trade-off for me. So I opted not to record as much as maybe I could have to have more of an opportunity just to kind of hang out with him. So we did the whole lunch thing, and that was fine. And then immediately after lunch, they moved over to the range, and the range that we were at was the 5th group range, which is kind of right across the street from where we are. And we're going to do some shooting. And so there was a team, a special forces team that was kind of tapped to help organize and run this. So those guys that were there helping to run it, there was a lot of concern about being able to like see their face or catch their face on any kind of camera. So there was a lot more concern with that than with anything else. So the only people that did any recording for that portion of it was the PAO, the Public Affairs Office, and that's an Army component. So they did all the recording for the range portion of it, so that they could control who is seen, faces, and things like that. So any of that portion of the shooting stuff you'll end up seeing probably on Martine's page when it gets edited. The editing portion is done, and that footage gets sent to him so that he can put it together and put it on his channel. But you'll probably see at least some shooting on his page. And it was a lot of fun. We had MP4, we had some M9s there, I think they were SIGs, and then some M4s doing some shooting. And that was a real good time. We got to shoot MP5 and I shot the M9. I didn't shoot M4 because it doesn't hold much interest for me. JFX, yeah, we did get a workout in. And then no, it was not Delta Force. So the range piece was fun, but like I said, I didn't record any of it because I couldn't really, honestly. And we got done with the range, and Big Man was hungry, wanted to get some food. And it was actually my wife's idea to pick up some extra food and things like that and have some food here and like make the guys a meal. The expectation was we were going to cook like dinner and eat at the house here before they drove back up to Knox. Well, we get done with the range, and Martins is hungry. He wants to eat, and it's right around 4:30 at the time. And so I was expecting to have them by probably like 5 or 6 and do like dinner. So he's hungry, and I said, "Well, I got some food at the house. We can throw some stuff on and cook it real fast." And he's like, "Yeah, let's do that." Okay, cool. So I called the wife and it's like, "Hey, look, we're on the way like right now." And she's like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, we're on the way right now." What's up, Une? How are you? She's like, "You're what?" Yeah, we're on the way right now. So she had to scramble to try to finish getting things cooked, and luckily she had already started to cook a few things and get things prepped for later. So I put her under a huge crunch to bring them by, but she did really great, and brought the guys over. So I brought Romart, Martins, Murph, no, not Murph, Anthony Furman, and it was just those 3 guys, and then myself. Brought them back to the house and got some food going for them. So we cooked up some steaks, we cooked up some potatoes and some broccoli, and just had like a nice little meal at the house. So something super low key and just kind of like big boy food, and it was pretty awesome. Yeah, yeah, Shamar, you're right. Shout out to the wife for that. That the one pic that she took that I showed on the video, which is of my back, us at the table. Like I had no idea that she took the photo, and I know that from like a viewer and a fan perspective, it would have been really cool to have caught that on camera and caught some of that conversation and stuff like that. But it also would have altered the kind of the mood of the moment, right? Like, if you got a camera on you, you're going to behave a little differently than you would if you're just kind of hanging out. And like I said, it was too good of an opportunity to kind of hang out and just hang out with him. Then I thought it was to try to get the video. So like I wasn't interested in getting any photos or videos from him. I just thought like it was just cool just to chill. And it really was. It was a really cool time to kind of sit around. We sat at the house for about a half hour or so. I got some steaks cooked, and we just kind of shot the shit and joked around a little bit, and it was cool. Then I started getting some texts from the other guys who were kind of help organizing things. And they're like, "Hey man, there's a bunch of people here at the gym. There's a crowd already here, or everyone's kind of waiting on you guys." So I had to kind of put the rush on. I was like, "Okay, it's time to move on to the next event and get everyone moving." And understandably, Martins is kind of tired, right? Because he's a big dude and he just ran an obstacle course and just ran through the range, and like there's a lot of stuff going on. So like he just kind of wanted to sit and chill a little bit. But it was time to get on to the next event. So on to the gym, which was the workout portion that I helped organize. And I really do have to, extend like a great debt of gratitude to John and to Juan and to a few other people who really helped kind of set things up, right? Because like they did the kind of the heavy lifting to get the thing set up. I really just kind of came up with a plan of what we should do. But there were really other people that kind of helped execute. And so that wouldn't have happened without them. So I really do have to be grateful for that. But we showed up to the gym at about 3:30, and there was already quite a lot of people in there. And all the barbells were already set up. So we had 60 kg all the way up to, I think, 230 kg. And, everyone was kind of hanging out and want to give the guys time to warm up and get moving. So as they got moving, I kind of explained to the crowd like what we were doing, what the plan was, invited other people to play. So while Martins was warming up, if other people wanted to get started and attempt the ladder, I would time people to see if they could finish, and if they could finish, how fast they were. So the idea was, who can finish the fastest is essentially what it was. And so we had some really cool demonstrations from some folks. There were a couple ladies there that did really, really well, and fine demonstration of strength. And then we had a few people get really close to the end of the ladder and couldn't quite finish it. And then we had a few people that did finish it. So some really great demonstrations of strength, that were kind of going through the ladder. A couple of soldiers finished it, but we're at like a 1 minute time or whatever. So then Martins was ready and he wanted to run it. So he went through and ran it from beginning to end, he was done in like 26 seconds. So like blistering speed, and no one else finished it anywhere near that close. I think the closest anyone else had finished it was like 41 seconds or something like that. So he absolutely blistered the course. What's going on, Adam? And so that was awesome to see. And then I tried it after him. I did not beat him, but it was fun nonetheless. And I think that was really it. Like there was only a few of us to finish it, and of those that finished it on the first run, I was the closest to Martins. And then with him being around and him being the world's strongest man, like I thought, what better opportunity to like go a little bit heavier and have a little bit of fun. So I brought in my weight and some my bar, and wanted to go a little bit heavier and just kind of have him around and just show that, like, show military strength, show army strength, right? Like there's some pretty strong soldiers out there, and I thought that for what they were doing, it might be a good opportunity to highlight, that you can be in the army and be very strong. So I ended up going up to an 800-pound deadlift while he was there, and so it was just really awesome to have everyone there, have the environment, everyone's like really excited for each other, and Martins was cheering everyone on, so he was like rooting for people, so like big, small, male, female, like he was rooting people on, very excited for everyone's attempts and performances and stuff. So it was really, really cool. And then the other thing that I gotta say about Martins is he was super generous with his time too. So a lot of folks wanted to come up and get pictures and say hi and whatever, and he spent time with everybody, like to talk to anyone that came up to him, to talk to him for a few minutes and say hello and get a photo. And a friend of mine, her husband is currently deployed, and he spent some time talking to her sons because they were very excited to meet him, and they like watching his videos and things like that. So he came over and talked to him for a few minutes, and that was just like a really, really cool thing of him to do, right? Like to share that time and space with people. So for any of you that haven't had the opportunity to meet Martins, I have to tell you, like I believe he is like 100% the genuine article, right? Like he is the real deal. What you see on the camera in his YouTube videos, obviously, like to some measure, like he plays up and like it's a bit of a showmanship, because he wants to be entertaining for the videos and whatnot. But he is as real in person as he appears in the videos, and just a really cool dude to hang out with. So if you ever have the chance to meet him, you should go up and say hi, and because he's a very cool, very approachable person, and it was a really, really great experience, something I'm going to remember for a very long time. And I happened to ask him in Romark as well, how they feel about me coming out that way sometime, come out to California, hang out with them. And both of them were like, yeah, absolutely. So I can definitely say that at some point in time in the future, I'll be traveling out to California to go hang out with those guys and try to do some things. So that's just cool to have had the opportunity to share some time and space and get along with them and make a couple of new friends. So that for me was really, really rewarding, is the chance to make some new friends. And so that was cool. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the backstory and kind of how the day went and some of my thoughts that you probably won't see anywhere else. Like it won't be part of the other videos and things like that. Or so I just wanted to include that. So if you guys, for those of you who are here, if you have any questions about the day or whatever, hit me up, let me know. That while we're here, we can talk about it, and let me know what you guys think. Brian says he met Martins on day one of WSN last year. You got a good pick? Yeah. I mean, yeah, well, sometimes I misspell things, Randy. I'm sorry. There was the deadlift, JFX. We did deadlifting up to 230. For the 800, man, he was really happy about it. Like he thought that was really cool, because honestly, there probably aren't that many active duty soldiers that can just pull out an 800-pound deadlift. So he was really excited about it, rooting me on, gave me a big hug afterward. So that was really cool. Yeah, it was awesome. Shamar, did he talk about recovery from the car accident? He did. He did work up to talk about the injury Just talked about how it's been bothering his shoulder. If you look in some of the photos, his left arm, you can look at his elbow, really swollen and big, even still. So he had to get some stitches and stuff. So the experience really beat him up a lot, and so that has had a huge effect on his training recently. And you can see that in his videos and stuff too. He talks about that pretty openly, which I think is pretty cool because a lot of times we look at people in the position that he's in and we get the impression that they're invincible, and to kind of see that humanity, to see the fact that there's they're just as prone to injury and things like that as other people, is cool. And then for him to talk about the things that he does with his recovery, right? Like how he approaches it. He tries to do it in a very sensical manner. And I think that's really cool. It's a really cool thing to see as a high level athlete, how he's approaching coming back from injury. So that's cool. JFX, but you worked up to 360. I don't know what 800 pounds is in kilograms, if that's 360 or not. But that was just me having some fun, because he was there and they were doing the video, and trying to highlight some military strength and ability. I thought it'd be fun to go a little bit heavier, and I'm coming back from an injury as well. As you may know, I had a partial tear to my left MCL, and so that's kind of plagued me to some degree for some time now. So that 800-pound deadlift was kind of my leaning forward and kind of trying to get back to like normal. So it was too good of an opportunity to try to pass up. So that's why I did it. But I was the only one that went heavy. He and everyone else only went up to 230 kilograms. Yeah, meeting. No, we weren't meating. Although we did eat. We did eat some meat, which was steak and chicken. Yeah, it was cool. It was a good experience, even if I can't spell. No, so actually, it's funny. Adam asked if he encouraged me to try strongman, and it's funny because we were at dinner, or not dinner. We were at lunch at the DFAT, and the question of strongman kind of came up, and I talked about how I get that question a lot. So a lot of people seem to conflate the idea of being strong with doing strongman, and they're not necessarily the same things. Certainly, in order to do strongman well, you have to be strong, but being strong doesn't automatically lend itself to being a strong man very well, right? And what I mean is the difference between being static and being dynamic. So with powerlifting, which I've done the majority of my life, is a static event, right? You're in one place and that's it. With strongman, you're this very dynamic. There's a lot of moving. I just turned 38 years old this year. Like it's far too late in my career, my life, my flight path, for me to try to pivot and start doing strongman and think that I would have any chance of being very competitive, because I wouldn't. I would probably get decimated. The other part for me is that although I enjoy watching strongman, I don't particularly enjoy strongman. So some people seem to think that like strongman training is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, and for that I just say to each their own, right? Like if you enjoy it, then obviously like do it. But like not everyone really enjoys training like that, and I got to say I really do not enjoy the strongman style training. I really love powerlifting, so I enjoy being static and all that stuff. So I know that may not be what some people would like me to say, but it's the truth. I just don't enjoy strongman training that much, and I would never. I'm never going to go down that path in any kind of capacity, other than maybe just some funsy stuff, training here and there when I'm with the right people. GFX is sad. It's sad you can tell there have been some atrophy even in his arm. Yeah, it's whenever you have a significant injury the way that he had, getting hit by a car, you're going to lose some degree of fitness in general, right? Like it's going to happen. The nice thing with muscle memory and whatever is it tends to come back a lot quicker and easier than it did getting there the first time. Once you've taken your body to a certain point, your body kind of remembers how to get there again. That neural pathway has already kind of been established. It's easy to get back there. So yeah, it is sad that he was hurt, and it sucks. But I'm pretty confident he'll be able to recover to a high degree and be able to move on from it without much negative effect. Adam, yeah, Adam says he feels like I'm athletic enough to do well in strongman. I might be. I might be. I don't know. But I'll tell you that I am too injury averse to even risk going into strongman training. The types of injuries and stuff that I've seen from strongman is just the juice isn't worth the squeeze to me, and above all else, I'm not that interested. If I were more interested in it, then I would probably be more willing to take on more risk. But I'm just not that interested. I think it's really great to watch, and I'm glad certain people do it. But it really just is not my cup of tea. JFX thinks that powerlifting is a better measure of raw power. So this is definitely like a debate or a conversation that has gone on for a long time. And I don't know. Sorry, I crack a beer here with you guys. I don't know what is a better demonstration of strength. I feel like strongman in general is probably a more useful demonstration of strength, right? Because the things that they do tend to apply better to day-to-day life than a squat, a bench, or a deadlift. And I feel like that application of strength is a better fit for life in general, right? Because very rarely are you ever going to be challenged in life to do the types of things that powerlifting is, right? However, to be good for powerlifting, you have to be kind of generally strong. And so being generally very strong, it lends itself well to life. But I don't think that powerlifting in and of itself is makes you better at life. If you guys kind of understand what I mean, right? Like being a powerlifter versus being a strongman, I think being a strongman makes you probably a more effective human being. However, being good at powerlifting also means that you're strong, and so makes you a general better human being. I hope that's clear. It makes sense in my head at least. So yeah, I enjoy, but I just enjoy powerlifting more, right? Like I enjoy the static movement. I enjoy squatting, benching, and deadlifting. I don't particularly enjoy, getting torn up with my forearms on Atlas stones and getting like super, super dirty with, like that's just, some people love it. I just don't. Randy says come back a lot again. Yeah, Randy, his training's been going really well, and he's been very active in trying to work on his rehabilitation and kind of getting back into it. So yeah, he's been able to make up a lot of ground, which is really cool to see. I'm really glad for him. Adam says, I get it. Thanks for the honest answer about strongman. True, injuries are the worst within strongman. Yeah, I mean, like, whatever your cup of tea is, I feel like you should chase it and go after it and live it up. And when you're really, really into something, sometimes you're willing to overlook those risks and the potential injuries and things like that may come along with that associated activity. And as long as you really love it, then it doesn't really, it's a thing, right? Like I blew off both my biceps in deadlifts because I really, really love powerlifting. But I've been hurt enough now where I don't want to be hurt like that anymore. And it really does jade my training. And so that is at least one of the reasons why I'll probably never compete again, because I'm not really willing to push myself to the limits that I once pushed myself. So, everything there's a juice squeeze ratio with everything. You just got to figure out where you fall. Randy says he gets surgery on the 12th. Yeah. Well, I mean, Randy, sometimes obviously, sometimes you can't fix it on your own. Sometimes it may require surgical intervention. Like there's certain things we can't overcome. But the fact that you continue to lean forward and continue to do the best you can, even in light of the limitations, is good, right? Like, and so after you have the surgery, I'm sure that you'll continue to do the same, and continue to try to move that ball forward and get yourself, where you want to be. So just because you're getting the surgery doesn't mean you gave up. It just means you need that surgical intervention. And I wish you the best of luck, brother. Adam says, off topic, but coming off his last comp, he had a 402 bench, and yesterday 275 felt heavy and hard. Is that normal? Yeah, absolutely. Um, the you tend to wave up and peak for a meet, and get yourself to a high level of activity. But that level of activity is very similar to redlining a car, right? Like if you just floor a car and put the pedal to the floor, you're gonna stress out that engine. And if you redline, that engine, like I said, it's very hard on the engine. But the engines aren't necessarily like human bodies, So um, the similarity is if you continue to push the engine, to its absolute limit, eventually the engine breaks. Well, we too will break as well. But the thing for us is if you redline your body to some degree, you're going to feel that in the following days or even weeks of the exhaustion and the effort that you threw into it. And powerlifting meets are particularly stressful because it's an all day event, right? So you're up early in the morning. You've probably been stressing out for a few days about the event. So a few days of high stress, maybe not a lot of sleep. You get up early, you go to the meet, you're out there all day. You're hot, you're sweating. Like it's a very exhaustive experience going to and participating in a powerlifting meet. And so many people tend to be very depleted on the tail end of a meet for sometimes even weeks. So no, that doesn't particularly surprise me. Just continue to get your rest, get your hydration, get your food, give your body what it needs in terms of being able to repair itself, and then get yourself back into some light movement, range of motion, so that you can continue to move through range of motion, inspire blood flow, and that will help facilitate rehabilitation for you. Oh yeah, Randy. No, I didn't mean to think that you were giving up. I didn't mean to imply that I thought you were giving up. Yeah, yeah, moving. You wanted to move in a natural pattern. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think surgery avoidance is probably like huge, right? Most people want to avoid surgery. I think avoiding surgery is probably the most preferable course of action, if at all possible. But obviously, it has presented itself to not be a situation that's possible. So get the surgery, then continue to drive on from there. So yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, man. Um, yeah. So Adam, it honestly, it's probably not that you got any weaker. You're probably every bit as strong as you were the day of the meet, but you're just a little depleted and worn out, and it takes a little while to rebound from that. So I wouldn't think much of it. You just make sure in this period of time that you don't drop on your intake. Right, keep your diet about the same. Keep your hydration up, because losing your diet, like losing your appetite, can definitely really hit you hard and affect your training for sure. So just make sure you get your hydration, get your food, get your sleep, and you'll see pretty quick that you'll turn it around, and you'll be feeling back to normal in no time. Luca says, "Cool, thanks, Luca. I appreciate it." That's really all that I had. So if you guys have any other kind of last minute questions, or want to throw something at me, hit me up. I'll hang out for about another minute or so, and then look to wind it down. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of the backstory and talk a little bit about the experience of meeting Martins Licis. It was every bit as cool as you would think it was. If you ever have the chance to meet him, you absolutely should, because he is a super cool and down to earth dude. How's the training going from dropping 10 plus reps to lower reps? What's going on, APOC? The low rep stuff is actually feeling pretty good. I've been feeling really good and enjoying it. The training took a little bit of a hit this week because of the visit with Martins, and me wanted to go heavier with him around. So I kind of reshuffled all my training this past week. So I'm still really feeling out how this new arrangement is going to work. It'll probably be a few more weeks yet before I really get a sense of how I'm feeling. But so far it feels very manageable, and I like that. So that's pretty cool. Randy, cheers to you, brother. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to presume that is all the questions that you guys had for the day. Yeah, APOC, eating's good. Make sure that you feed the beast. can't get strong without feeding yourself. So making sure that eating stays high is important. Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to thank you guys for the continued support. I really do appreciate all the support of the channel and the questions and stuff like that, and it gives me something to do, because pouring myself into this stuff, the videos, the lives, the interactions, like, I genuinely enjoy it, and it really gives me something to do, and a good sense of satisfaction with life and with myself. So I really do appreciate you guys providing me the opportunity to try to help and to try to do things that will be entertaining. It means a lot to me, so I just want to say thank you for that. Oh man, so what's happening? Asks about any tips for a deadlift plateau. So it's a very open question, right? Like, deadlift plateau but essentially you might want to look at how you're constructing your training and how you are loading, because the essence is, you got to make the training and the workouts harder over time. So you got to take a look at your progression. If your progression is sufficient enough to kind of continue to force that physical adaptation of getting stronger. So that might be one thing that I would look at is take a look at your program and how you're training, to make sure that you're not doing the same thing all the time, because continuing to do the same thing will just get you the same results. You got to switch things up and make things harder in order for you to continue to grow, because that's what it requires. Okay. APOC, talking about those Atlas stones out there, calling to him. Get them, APOC. Give them hell. Okay, almost 45 minutes here, guys. I never intend for these to be as long as they become, but I am super grateful that you guys are willing to hang out with me for these and be as interactive as you are. So it really does make the time fly. I can't believe I've been sitting here talking for 45 minutes. It's wild. What's happening? Hey, the other tip I got for you, man, is film yourself. So film yourself deadlift from like straight on and 90 degrees from the side, and watch yourself and see where your breakdowns are. See where you fail on your deadlift, and being able to observe your failure points can inform you on the types of things that you should do in terms of accessory work or auxiliary work, to be able to shore up those weaknesses. Because it may be a weakness off the floor, it may be weakness like right at the knee at lockout. So depending on where it is you're failing, it will also inform how you need to respond in your training and the types of things you need to focus on. So make sure that you film and watch yourself deadlifting so you can try to watch for those breakdowns. Cool. Jonathan, thanks for the service. Hope you and the family are good. Hey, Jonathan, no worries, man. I'm glad to do it. It's easy. Well, maybe it's not all that easy sometimes, but it's not bad. But I do appreciate the kind words there, man. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Shamar, appreciate you, man. Stay at it. I see you out there on the grams, getting after it, inspiring people. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. All right, guys, that's it. I'm gonna wrap it down here. Any questions or comments? Always feel free to hit me up. Instagram, email. Hit me up in the comment box on the videos. I'm more than willing to help you guys out in any way, shape, form that I can. So just let me know how I can provide something better for you guys or assist you in kind of your strength journey. That's what this is all about. And remember, guys, no matter what it is you think you can't do, you got to get in, train despite. You're going to find an excuse. You're going to find a way. And I hope that you guys continue to find a way. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.